Time of the week, Fresh Fridays with myself, Trickstar, alongside host KXVU.
Good morning, good morning. Fresh Fridays, it's the weekend, I'm very excited.
This is the last time.
Gonna kick off with something fresh from Roller.
How it is that we can't be in this position. Swear you did this last time, but I ain't hearing that.
Wavy stuff. It's Brekky In The Cave, Cubcam TV. Oh yes.
You focus on your past life. No matter what I say, you find a way to make me out to be your last guy. Last guy. You best make this the last time. Funny how we went from being so in love to feeling every type of hate, then back to me picking you.
Right then, we should be live again. Slight delay, I do apologise. Slight internet techies this morning, but I believe we are live again, so good stuff. Now to the locked in crew. Slight technicals in the morning, that's always the way, isn't it? Right then, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are able to start the show off properly now. It's Brekky In The Cave, myself, KXVU, in the hot seat. And we had a slight technical issue this morning, but we are live a few minutes late. But you know what happens sometimes. We've done nearly a month of shows without a single bit of it being late, and it's all run perfectly. So that's it was to be expected at some point. We did change our internet over quite recently, so maybe it's teething problems, who knows. Anyway, welcome to all the listeners. Please do make sure you're hitting that subscribe button straight away. Every new subscriber helps the channel hugely. Today we've got a fantastic show on the way. We're going to be joined by Trickstar in about 5 minutes or so. We're going to be looking through what he's been up to recently, looking through the Kiwi Cup, looking through what's happening in sort of football as well, looking at like transfer rumours perhaps, and then around past, we're going to be jumping on the line with a man like Fork and Knife, who's recently had a really, really good EP out on Cocobolo Sound. He's had a free download out now recently as well. I think that came out 5 days ago as well, alongside Blackmore, and he's been involved in a fair bit of sort of like these SoundCloud sends, which I want to talk to him about as well, and just have a bit of a catch up because we've never actually spoken on the phone before. So there we go. That's on the way. As I was saying earlier as well, we did see the Kiwi Cup take place yesterday. That was very enjoyable. We're going to be running through some of the results from that in just a bit. Also, we did see South Point announce their Universal deal, which was very exciting. I want to say thank you to everyone who has sent their thanks across. Really, really thankful for the entire thing. It's taken a long time to get together, and it's still not entirely finished in regards to the work we've got to do at our end, but it's the sort of the beginning of the next phase, and I want to say thank you for all the kind words that people were putting out there. It was a very, 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 very I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. It was very kind of overwhelming seeing how many people were happy for us, I've got to say. So, today, we're going to jump into this one next. Now, talking of the Kiwi Cup, this was one of the entries that unfortunately didn't make it into the top 8 or the honourable mentions. However, for me, this is still an absolute banger. This one comes from Weagle, and this one is his remix of Tell Me by Jack Jr. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. We're live on Cubcam TV. It's just gone 10 past 10. Futuristic UKG flavours on this one from Weagle. His remix of Jack Jr. Tell Me. Tell you what, there were some awesome entries into this tournament yesterday. Not the morning I wanted, you know. Scrambling around trying to get internet working. It's very debilitating not having internet in this current scenario, I've got to say. Right then, people, let's have a conversation this morning. Jump in that chat room and let us know how you are feeling. And let me know where you're listening from. Let me know what you're interested in. Who caught the Kiwi Cup yesterday? As I said, we do have Fork and Knife coming up in around 15 minutes or so that'll be very enjoyable indeed. Yeah, let us know how you're feeling this morning. Conversation. Out to the man like Violent Crime. Or Violet Crime, sorry. I can't even read this morning, that's how bad it is. This remix is Weagle's. Very bright UKG talent. Lovely flavours on that one from Weagle. His remix of Jack Jr.'s Tell Me. One of the entries into yesterday's Kiwi Cup competition. Really, really spicy stuff there. It's going to be a really enjoyable morning today. I've got to say, I'm looking forward to getting into the new releases. There's some absolute corkers in there. We are going to be talking to Fork and Knife in around 15 minutes or so. I'm going to give Dukey a ring in a few minutes as well. We get the conversation flowing this morning. That's what I like to see. I like to see a bit of conversation during these unsociable times, shall we say. But yeah, it's been a good week. Lots of stuff has happened. There's been lots of good news floating around. Obviously, I try to steer clear of what's going on sort of like the mainstream scale on this show. I always have done, primarily because you can get that information anywhere. This is meant to be more of a sort of like a musical escape, looking into good things that are happening. And I've got to say, it is very important to keep up with exactly what is going on in the world right now. I think more than ever, it's important to keep up with the news, keep up with what's going on. I'm not saying don't do that at all. Please do keep as up to date as you possibly can. However, people do still need to be entertained. You know, people do still need to have that level of escapism. People do still need to feel like they have to have something to look forward to. And I'm hoping this show is going some way to supporting that in the mornings. You know, the mornings are always horrible as it is. So if you've got like an enjoyable breakfast show going alongside it, then everything works, you know what I mean? That's how we like to do it. But yeah, good stuff on that one. We're going to keep the good vibes rolling music-wise onto this next one. Now, the thing with Fridays is the videos are almost certainly going to get flagged come the end of the show, which is why we post them up on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple Music as well. So what I try to do with the music on Fridays is go a little bit more into the ranges of poppy stuff, purely because I'm able to play it because I know the video is getting flagged regardless of what happens. So I can play a couple of bits that I wouldn't necessarily be able to play on the other shows because I want to keep as many of these shows on the channel as possible. So what we're going to do here is jump into a bit of a remix which I've seen floating around. This one is the De-Evolve remix of Dumpling by Sean Paul, Stylo G and Spice. Really cool futuristic dancehall flavours on this one. This is very much my what shall we say, my cup of tea. There we go, it's there. Did have a cup of tea this morning. And it's a really, really good way to wake you up. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump into this one now. New listeners, please do make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Every additional viewer makes a huge difference to the channel. And every additional subscriber makes a huge difference as well. The more we grow, the more we have going on. So there we go. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. It's Cubcam TV.
Bad man out and stunting. Kyle them thick like dumpling. Bad man out and stunting. Kyle them thick like dumpling. Bad man out and stunting. Kyle them thick like dumpling. Girl with big body jumping. Action ready for the thumping.
Bad girl step out, I'm stunting. My ties them thick like pumpkin. Look pon me, big body jumping. My money thick like a caramel dumpling. Remix style of the vocal range. Black and beautiful, so me not play. Me no pre and me no chat and me no eye gal. Me money make a gal act suicidal. Gal fear, like me weave them. Oh Lord, gal say she bad, me no believe them. Hey, rich, watch how me a beat them. Chanel, Fendi, me Louis V them. But there's female out there, tell them to confront. Location a change, that the money me on. First class up front, it a live a gal a grunt. Me bank account fatter than my front.
We all damn bad, stunting. Them gala say we sweet like pumpkin. True with pile them tick like dumpling. Pile them tick like dumpling. All damn bad, stunting. Them gala say we sweet like pumpkin. True with pile them tick like dumpling. Pile them tick like dumpling. Bad man.
Blazing and blunting. Make way for the big truck shunting. Steadily be boom boom hunting. Now no time for the wine or the gunting. Yeah, hear me mighty, I just funting. Run the cat them water like fountain. From them sitting it buff up like a mountain. Climb to the peak, no rerouting. Me love killy gal and me love plumping. Anyone now wanna come give me something. On a day now week now monthing. Guarantee hear me, I get the girl pumping. See then when the sound start thumping. Gal them a flip it and a dip it and a run things. See then when the vibe get drunken. Gal want see the callaloo and the dumpling. Bang bang bang.
We all damn bad, stunting. Them gala say we sweet like pumpkin. True with pile them tick like dumpling. Pile them tick like dumpling. All damn bad, stunting. Them gala say we sweet like pumpkin. True with pile them tick like dumpling. Pile them tick like dumpling. Bad man.
Right then, we are back inside the building. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave. It's Fresh Fridays, and our local superstar, Duke Sky, joins us on the phone this morning. How are you doing? So you all good?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, mate. I'm even better after that intro.
There we go.
Superstar, I'll take it.
Yeah, how have you been, man?
How are you?
I'm good, sir. I'm good.
Yeah, not too bad. I think it's I've woke up a little bit COVID-y today.
Okay.
A bit of sniffles, a little bit of a cough, but no, I think it's just staying indoors time, as it is for everybody.
I think so, man. I think more than anything else I'm finding at the minute, like, as soon as I get, like, any type of, like, sniffle or I sneeze or anything, like, that could be remotely close to things, I'm getting a little bit paranoid about things, I won't lie.
Yeah, I think it's fair enough. I think it's just justified paranoia in these times. But no, I think stay on top of it, keep hydrated, take some vitamins, and don't be scared of a paracetamol. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Every now and again.
I think more than anything though, I think we're at a point now in this very unusual situation where we're starting to see a lot of people actually kind of like get used to the scenario. I feel we're at a point now where people are really much they're putting their own projects together, they're working from home, everyone's got their routine sort of not back, but they've got a new routine sort of set up now.
Yeah, well, I think it's you have to adapt and survive, otherwise you're going to be left twiddling your thumbs for however long, because I don't know when this is going to be over. I know they're talking about lessening the restrictions in the States, but I think that's going to go horribly wrong and may even set them back even longer. So, yeah, I think make the best of the situation while you can, because, yeah, we're here for the long run. I mean, my original prediction was that we were going to be on lockdown for around 3 months, and I think that's looking like what it could be. Some kind of lockdown within around 3 months, I think. I think, I mean, it's pure guesstimation at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised if it even goes back to August or something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, on to a more positive note. It's been quite an interesting week music-wise. We've had a couple of really cool announcements. Did you get a chance to check out any of the Kiwi Cup yesterday?
No. Would you enlighten me, actually, as to what the Kiwi Cup entails?
Yes, of course. So the Kiwi Cup is a project set out by Kiwi Recordings.
Conductor?
Conductor, indeed.
Yeah, I thought so.
Basically, it's a tournament where they've put together 3 sets of remix stems, put them out online, and basically said, look, you have 2 weeks to remix them. The best people will get selected to go into like a top 8, and then those top 8 will essentially battle it out with certain other criteria that we get put forward as they go forward. They hosted it yesterday. They had over 125 people submit tracks in 2 weeks, which is a lot of people. And then they went on Instagram Live basically yesterday to go through and announce all the winners, and they got all the winners on the live stream as well. It was really, really good, man. It was a good event. It felt quite like it was exciting. You know, I missed that kind of thing of like exciting live events that aren't just like live streams. You know, I mean, there's like a winner, there's winners, there's losers, there's like an element of competitiveness to everything. And we did a live report on 3000 with all of the winners, so you can check out all of the tunes that did win and did go through to the next round. Over 3000.
What platform was it on? Where were they live?
They were live on the Kiwi Recordings Instagram.
Okay. And so who won? Do you want to spoil it for me?
I'll run through a couple of the names. I need to get the article up on my screen, but I'll run through a couple of the names. I know MPH got through.
Okay. I was going to say, was there any familiar names that we know? I'm sure.
You know, the maddest thing, Earthnut got one of the. I thought Earthnut were going to get a certified going to go through because their remix was so good and it was the one that everyone was talking about. They didn't get through. They got a honourable mention. But yeah, the people who went through were Prozac, Yemi, Higo, Drinks on Me, Jemmy, MPH, Resonant, and Polytone. They were the 8 people that actually qualified. And you can listen through all of their recordings over on the review up on 3000.co.uk. There we go.
Nice. There we go. Plug.
All them plugs there. So yeah, what have you been doing this week then? Have you found yourself doing anything different, or are you settling into that routine very much like confirmed now?
No, yeah, it's pretty much the routine now. I'm trying to stay as healthy as I can via exercise at home and the odd bike ride here and there. But even that is now the weather's turned. I don't think I'll be venturing out on them too much.
That's good though, man. I think more than anything now. I mean, have you seen how much these like sort of online workout streamers have started to grow?
Yeah. Some of them. There's one guy, I forget his name, but he got tapped into the parents and kids market. Now he's just set himself up for life now during this quarantine period. And I think you could go and do whatever after that, and you go do seminars or like DVDs, or not DVDs, but something to that effect. What will be the next thing after that? What will you do? Buy my fitness tape from the iTunes store?
You could probably do, maybe. Like if we're talking podcasts, obviously you can look at doing live streams. You can look at doing almost like premium YouTube content, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe even like endorsements for like Sky and stuff like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, there's.
World's your oyster.
I think the maddest thing about these times is when you have these projects that you kind of set up yourself and they go kind of viral. Like that place they went viral is always going to be your home, if you know what I mean. That's always going to be where you're most known. So you can grow obviously and go in to do different things and like obviously hit different viral platforms and get into music videos and whatever. But like realistically, that being big on that platform is actually the biggest you're going to be the majority of the time.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's where you've set your foundation.
Which is quite bizarre when you look at like almost like people who have become stars overnight in the past. They've gone from like doing this little thing on like I don't know on like a street corner or like a little video on like their MySpace page, and then they've suddenly become this massive thing, and then they get the YouTube channel, and then they get the big Facebook plug or whatever. Now it seems to be that people are doing the Facebook plug or doing the YouTube video. The YouTube video goes viral, and then what do you kind of do after that?
Yeah, it's tough. I think that expansion is probably the hardest thing for social media talent, for want of a better word, these days. But I think that's going to be that no one really knows how to do it, how to progress. But we're all still learning on the job here, so I think it's going to be interesting to see who the trailblazers are over the next few years.
Definitely, man.
I just want to say before we move on completely to more music-based chat, Shouts to South Point Gang, yourself and Josh for obviously securing that Universal deal. That's huge, man.
Thank you,
big
sir.
Congrats.
Thank you, sir.
Give you a virtual round of applause for that.
Thank you, sir. You're very kind. Yeah, it was a bit of a mad announcement, to be honest. I'm a little bit. I was very kind of overwhelmed by how many people were getting in contact with us and like sending a. You know how people will like a status or whatever, and then they'll message you, and you're like, oh, you actually messaged afterwards. That's really good.
Yeah.
I found a lot of people doing that, and I was a little bit overwhelmed. I won't lie. I was a little bit overwhelmed. So there we go. Out to everyone in the chat. Out to Violet Crime. Out to I think it's Ain. I think it's Ain Ryan. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Out to everyone locked in as well. Please do leave a message in the chat. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know where you're looking in from as well. We're going to be jumping on the phone with Man Like Fork and Knife in around 3 minutes or so. But for the time being, we're going to jump into this one from Warrior King. This one goes by the name of Blacker Kill Black. Really, really cool new school reggae tune. Don't go anywhere. It's Cubcam TV at Cub KXVU at Duke Skywalks on all the socials as well. Hit that subscribe button.
If you don't know where you're coming from, you know you should surely fall. What that? Black kill black, what that? Fighting one another, we're not the same color we got. Black kill black, what that? Black man don't get caught in a Babylon trap. Black kill black, what that? Fighting one another, we're not the same color we got. Black kill black, what that? They don't know their purposes like they forgot. Hey, black man are the first civilization. We're the teachers that taught all nations. A black man is the king of all kings. In every kingdom there was a black king. Hey, Melchizedek, Menelik, the first and second. Mansa Musa, David, King Solomon, Lalibela, Al Selassie, the Almighty One. The first archaeologist, the Moorish man. They rule the air, sea and land. Hey, wise up black man and black woman. Unity is strength, let us live as one. You know I don't like the situation. Black kill black, what that? Fighting one another, we're not the same color we got. Black kill black, what that? Black man don't get caught in a Babylon trap. Black kill black, what that? Fighting one another, we're not the same color we got. Black kill black, what that? They don't know their purposes like they forgot. Hey, they take away we gold, we diamond and we gold. And mine it out, ship it out to the western land. We can divide up our nation. And here comes the falling of black man. They set a system for your purse, we feel oh so long. And black man, you should know your position. Stop look out at yourself because God well up in a man. They took away we language, culture and we religion. They took us from the land where creation began. So never forget your past while the future is at hand. Let love be the foundation on which you stand. You know I don't like the situation. For black kill black, what that? Fighting one another, we're not the same color we got. Black kill black, what that? Black man don't get caught in a Babylon trap. Black kill black, what that? Fighting one another, we're not the same color we got. Black kill black, what that? They don't know their purposes like they forgot. Black kill black, what that? Fighting one another, we're not the same color we got. Black kill black, what that? They don't know their purposes like they forgot. Hey, black man are the first civilization. We're the teachers that taught all nations. A black man is the king of all kings. In every kingdom there was a black king. Hey, Melchizedek, Menelik, the first and second. Mansa Musa, David, King Solomon, Lalibela, Al Selassie, the Almighty One. The first archaeologist, the Moorish man. They rule the air, sea and land. Hey, wise up black man and black woman. Unity is strength, let us live as one. You know I don't like the situation. Black kill black, what that? Fighting one another, we're not the same color we got. Black kill black, what that? Black
a Babylon trap. Black a kill black, our that.
Right then, we are back inside the building. We are live on Brekky In The Cave. It's Cubcam TV, and we have a very special guest on the line, and his name's Duke Sky. Alongside Duke Sky, we have man like Fork and Knife joining us this morning. How are you doing, sir? You all good?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Good to have you on. Good to have you on the line, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Bro, anytime. This is one I feel that's been very kind of overdue. I feel we're in a lot of sort of similar circles.
Completely. And
I feel this is definitely one that's been quite overdue. First of all, a question I'm asking everyone in this like sort of current unusual COVIDized scenario. Like how are you finding things at the moment?
It's okay. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? I'm actually still going to work every day, so my schedule hasn't changed a whole lot. I mean, I was sick for a couple of weeks, so I was actually quarantined. But I work in a care home, so like I'm sort of now more than ever I need to go to work every day.
Wow, I mean, so you are really in like that sort of like I don't want to say danger zone, but you're very much in an area where you have to be on your toes.
Yeah. I mean, with like the new uniform that we're wearing, masks and gowns and everything is that's crazy.
I mean, looking at everything then, so in regards to your sort of more music side of things, so it seems seemingly things, apart from obviously having to be a lot more sort of careful in the working environment, I'd say, but your actual sort of musical output, sort of that whole side of things is pretty similar to how it's always been.
Well, because I have the 2 weeks quarantine, I do actually find that I work much better when I don't have unlimited time. Because I found like when I knew that I had 2 weeks off, I was like, I just wasn't like focused at all. I was making like 16-bar loops and then just throwing them away every single day. And then as soon as I got back to work, I have an action plan. I know the amount of time that I've got to do something, and I'll get it done basically. Okay,
so it's almost like that sort of pressure of not having all the time in the world actually adds like additional spice to what's going on.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, cool, man. So we're here today to talk about a couple of things. We've seen a couple of new releases floating around. The reason I asked that question to begin with was because obviously there's a lot of stuff popping up on SoundCloud recently, which we're going to get into in a few minutes or so. But I want to get a bit of background on yourself because you do have quite like a varied sound. I mean, Dukey, you were saying this yesterday when we were kind of like looking through recordings and stuff. Like, how did you describe Fork's sound?
Yeah, no, I was just flicking through the discography, and it just struck me how varied it was. It was very impressive. You delving into different sounds, even within genres. Like the recent Rain one, I wouldn't say sounds anything like the recent SBK one in terms of grime instrumentals, but you still like got your identifiable sound.
Well, the same. I was working from the same sort of format for both those tunes. I thought that they were quite similar, to be honest.
Really?
Sometimes you need someone to tell you that, like, what it actually sounds like.
Yeah, well, I think there's definitely that underlying style or sort of structure, as it were. But no, I think if you play the two songs back to back, I don't think.
That's interesting.
It was nice. It was good.
I think overall it is quite interesting, and I think as well, I think the thing that kind of strikes most about that sort of Fork and Knife sound is, as Dukey said, the variation in it, and the fact that no two songs really sound like they're exactly the same. Even though they might do in sort of like the production sort of process or maybe the structure, there's always like a kind of very notable difference sonically. Like what was your kind of original route into production to begin with?
That's a while ago. I started, I got like a MacBook probably like 10 or 12 years ago, and I started just making guitar music. I had no idea how to produce, but I didn't even really know how to play guitar either. But I was making like post-rock stuff, and then just really ambient guitar atmospheres. And then as I sort of learned more and more about production, I realised that sort of the music that I was actually listening to, like electronic music, was sort of more viable, and I could actually make it. Like for ages I thought that it was just outside of my possibility.
Okay.
But, the more I learned, the more I thought, more I considered it basically.
What were you listening to personally at the time?
I mean, this is a long time ago, but basically what got me into electronic music, I reckon, was probably because I'm a big metalhead basically. So when I sort of discovering music that sounded a bit more like metal in the electronic sphere, like drum and bass, basically. When Noisia started coming around,
I was going to say,
that was it. Noisia was like game over for me.
Your Spore.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then the whole sort of screechy bro step thing I was really into as well.
Well, that's that's a natural progression as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And that, but so that was basically it.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. I think there's a good faction as well. You've got Sir Pix-a-Lot as well. I know he's a big metalhead. I'm sure there's a few others in the grime scene. There is?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, there is. There's definitely a lot.
I mean, I know Boylan's quite a big metalhead as well.
Yes, that's another one. So there you go.
I mean, there's so many similarities between, particularly dubstep and grime, I guess, as well. Yeah. But I mean, it's just heavy, isn't it?
I think as well. There's almost like that sort of there's a community feeling about it as well. I feel.
Yeah, totally.
Which is almost like you're into this niche and you're that sort of element of everyone kind of liking this very specific thing,
and a sort of rebelliousness as well.
Yeah.
Definitely, man, definitely. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the... Actually, no, what we'll do first is we'll go to a tune that dropped a little while back via 140. This one is Bars, which came out as a free download with SBK. Talk to me about this one.
I think I contacted SBK with like a sketch for a tune ages ago, and he liked it. So I mean, it was so quick. All the vocals that I've done have been such a quick process. Like with Rame as well. Like I'll send them like maybe 32 bars of like an intro and a drop, and then they'll say if they're feeling it and if they want me to sort of fill it out, and then I'll get a full structure going, and then they'll vocal it, send it back to me, and then I'll mix it around the vocals. But I mean, it all happened in like the space of 2 weeks. Every vocal I've done, except for the Killer P one, has happened in sort of that time frame. Killer P was a bit longer.
Interesting, man. Like, do you enjoy working with vocalists?
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, I like knowing that before I start the tune that I'm gonna get a vocal on it.
Okay.
Because then I can sort of leave space for it, and I can sort of adjust things accordingly. Whereas if I know that I'm not going to get a vocal on it, I feel sort of pressured to fill things out and I end up adding too much stuff, and then I need to take it away. But having a vocal on it is just like a safety net. You know that it's the focus is on the vocal, so you can kind of do what you want production-wise.
Okay, so it's almost as if you haven't got a... I mean, the thing I've always found with doing sort of instrumentals where there's vocals, it means you haven't got to focus on as much having that sort of that instrument that the vocal would kind of be replicated by.
Exactly. Yeah. Just having, even if you've got like a vocal, just having a human voice in a tune, I think like puts it up a notch.
Definitely. I think it's that thing of relatability is definitely the wrong word, but it's something that you can connect with as a human.
Yeah.
You have that sort of natural affinity to kind of go, oh, there's someone talking to me on this, so I'm more likely to engage with it. Definitely.
I mean, rather than a square wave.
rather than a square. Yeah, I agree with that, man. We're going to jump into this one now. It's just gone 39 minutes past 10 here on Cubcam TV. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, new listeners. Don't go anywhere. Oh yes.
It's mad. Yeah. And it's SBK. You don't wanna war with SBK. You'll find there's one SBK. O-type fork and knife on the production, yeah? Exclusive. Levels. I got bars, us man are hard. No fake dons can come in my yard. You ain't ever had a gun in your palm, no liars. That's why they struggle when they dance. I got bars, us man are hard. No fake dons can come in my yard. You ain't ever had a gun in your palm, no liars. That's why they struggle when they dance. I got bars for weeks. Sleep in the dawn, but you're half asleep. Just know that you're not as hard as me. You gangster persona, I can't believe. You ain't seen the half of me. Man are crazy partially. They lie so well, it's hard to see. But seeing all that ain't hard to me. No, I see that. One flow, make a boy relax. I'm a top shot, don't better pre that. Who's a top MC, yeah, me that. Yo, man, a striker. And my phone has never been a liker. I got hunger, trust I'm a fighter. My big Lewis to my igniter. I got bars, us man are hard. No fake dons can come in my yard. You ain't ever had a gun in your palm, no liars. That's why they struggle when they dance. I got bars, us man are hard. No fake dons can come in my yard. You ain't ever had a gun in your palm, no liars. That's why they struggle when they dance. Let me get back to my energy. If you ain't my friend, then we have to be enemies. Most man, them are trapped in the system. I do music, so I rap when I'm getting peace. I'm a top guy, you can't deny it. Them flows, them always better try it. I'm a top boy, there's no denying. Ain't got time for the BS and the lying. I'm a smart boy, let me do my thing. I'm on beef and the man are on fighting. They say that grime is dead, well I guess that means SBK's reviving. Let me move on bars, them are too strong. Some of them are half-hearted, who's on? They tried to blacklist me, but you can't fuck this up, they gotta move off. bars, us man are hard. No fake dons can come in my yard. You ain't ever had a gun in your palm, they're liars. That's why they struggle when they dance. I got bars, us man are hard. No fake dons can come in my yard. You ain't ever had a gun in your palm, they're liars. That's why they struggle when they dance. I got bars, us man are hard. No fake dons can come in my yard. You ain't ever had a gun in your palm, they're liars. That's why they struggle when they dance. I got bars, us man are hard. No fake dons can come in my yard. You ain't ever had a gun in your palm, they're liars. That's why they struggle when they dance. It's that. Man said we got energy. 1, 2, 2 to the 3. What? Man said we got energy. 1, 2, 2 to the 3. What? Man said we got energy.
Right then, we're back on the line with Man Like Fork and Knife. Duke's guys in the building as well. It's a very enjoyable morning so far. We did have a little bit of a techie this morning. I was a little bit worried we weren't going to be able to get the show popping, but I'm very much enjoying this one so far. Out to the team at Cocobolo in the chat. We are going to move into a conversation about this brand new EP next. Now, you've been quite busy, realistically, over this sort of last couple of weeks. I'm looking on your SoundCloud. I'm seeing so much stuff popping up there. Obviously, this Cocobolo sound project is like, I'd say this is like the biggest thing that's happened over the time period. The track itself is a single with yourself and Rame, and then it comes with loads of remixes. Like, talk to me about how this project came together.
Well, me and Rame worked together. We did a release for Articulate last year. Again, like it came about, and sort of the process was so quick that we just figured we'd do another one. So this tune has actually been kicking about for quite some time. Probably finished it almost a year ago now, but just there was problems with release, and then we ended up approaching Cocobolo really not long ago. I mean, they acted so fast on actually getting out, and all the content that's with it, like all the videos, is mad. But yeah.
Interesting, man. So this is when you were working with Rame. Then was this one where you knew from the off you were going to be building it as a collaboration, or was it a tune that you kind of sent over to him and went, "There's some vocals"?
No. I think we just talked. I mean, we've been talking for a while. It was almost straight off the back of the other tune. We were like, we should do another tune together, and I was like, well, I'll get something sort of sketched out.
Very nice.
And that was it. And again, it was probably done in about 2 weeks' time.
Wicked. I mean, I like hearing about this stuff where there's this sort of like almost element of speed to getting things done. I know a lot of producers. I know a lot of producers who'll kind of sit there for like months and months and months before they're happy to send anything out. Like, what sort of actual, like, when you say a shell, like pretty much what's involved with a tune when you send it to a vocalist?
It's just an idea of it. I mean, everything is kind of there. The drums, the synths, everything that I am using is there. It will be sort of just a bit rougher, I suppose, just a bit, unmixed. It won't have all the final touches that I'll do. I mean, I can get something together in a few hours to sort of send out, I think. If I know what I'm doing. If I've got a plan, then I can get it together pretty quickly.
Nice, man. Well, okay, obviously with this EP as well then, there's some really, really cool remixes on there. Talk me through them and what your feelings are towards each one.
On One was the first one, I think, that we got back. And it's amazing. Yeah, I love the On One. Sort of like a Oxide and Neutrino sort of vibe.
Definitely, man. I was definitely getting that sort of earlier so solid sort of sound. The kind of like plucked strings on there. Almost make it sound like almost to an extent an early sort of tune that Dizzy would spit over, something like that.
Yeah.
Really cool. And
it's so different from the original as well, the actual production.
Definitely, man. And then there were 2 other remixes as well.
Yeah, we got Jake Bob. I think that was the next one to come in, which is amazing. Or like Halftime Grime, loads of square waves. I mean, what Jake Bob does.
Yeah.
And then the Namaste one was the third one. I love the Namaste one so much. Like, it makes the vocal on it sound so aggressive as well.
Wicked, man. I mean, with the whole project as like a collective body of work, like, are you happy with how everything's turned out?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, every remix I rate so highly, and I think, like, as well, the art and the videos that were supplied by Cocobolo were like, I really can't complain.
Nice, man. I mean, when we're looking at the projects like this, like, do you think you'll go on to work with Cocobolo again?
Yeah, I actually do have something. I've got something in the pipeline already that was planned before this release. So my reasoning for sort of talking to them about this one was kind of because I already had something planned with them, and we just because we've been sitting on this one for so long, we wanted it out relatively quick, and honestly, like within a month it was out.
I mean, that's amazing. That's an amazing sort of turnaround. I mean, in regards to getting stuff together for a release, I mean, most people you're looking at kind of like realistically at least a 2-month wait on a good day for a release to come out. So hats off to all the team at Coca-Cola. I mean, I love the artwork myself. I really like that kind of like almost old school white label looking sort of artwork. I think it adds a real kind of touch and nostalgia to it. And I think with this one, this is what the question I did want to ask about this a lot. Your sound is obviously very grime influenced, but I hear a lot of kind of funky elements in there as well. How would you define that sort of sound within yours?
I think it happened kind of accidentally. Like I had no plans to sort of incorporate. I've never been like a huge funky fan. I mean, I like it, but I've never been really into it. But I didn't know until people started telling me I'm making funky grime. I was like, all right, fine. And then I sort of started discovering more funky, and then I started making like more sort of 130 bass.
Leaning into it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I kind of fell in love with it.
Wicked, man.
So it was completely accidental to begin with.
I mean, it's quite weird to think that, because it's when I hear your sound, when I hear Fork and Knife's name pop up, the first thing I think is this is going to have rhythm to it. This is going to have that sort of like that kind of lively element to it, which
it's going to be able to be played in the rave.
Literally, that's exactly what I was about to say. There's an element of this is a tune for the dance. Whenever I hear something new from yourself,
I guess it's just the focus on percussion. Like I just love. Like I have so much percussion in every single tune, and then. Yeah, that just lends itself well to funky, doesn't it?
Like with your sort of stuff then, what would be the order you're putting stuff together in? Are you building melodies first, or are you building the more, as you said, the percussive kind of rhythmic side of things?
I kind of thought about this question. I thought this might pop up, but I have no idea. Like, I don't really have a game plan for each tune. I don't have any templates in my door. I don't. Every tune I start kind of completely different. Sometimes I'll get like I'll sort of refer back to an old tune, like, I started this tune this way, so maybe if I do that it'll work again. But usually I just start with a blank slate and I'll start experimenting with either synths or I'll start with drums. I don't really have a set way of doing things.
Wicked, man. I mean,
but once I get to a certain point, I know what I need to do next.
I think as well with a sound as kind of varied as yours, because you, as you said, you work with a lot of vocalists. Everything is very varied. The thing I always say, and Dookie mentioned it earlier, in regards to what makes, I think, a good producer, and what makes a consistent producer, is the ability to make varied sounds, but also the ability to transfer their signature sound across different genres. And I think that's definitely something we've seen from you, especially over the last kind of year. Like, so we're gonna jump into this tune next. If you could pick one more person to remix it, who would it be?
Oh man.
Any genre as well, anything.
Any genre. Well, how likely does it have to be?
No, literally anyone in the world.
Honestly, we were actually going to ask Retrospect to do it, but we had our 3 filled. So I reckon Retrospect would have actually done it real good, but we just didn't have space for him.
Okay, that's fair enough. I think Retrospect's sort of sound as well is very much on that sort of funky bracket as well, isn't it?
I agree.
Similar to like an Ali MCK as well. That sort of on the edge of, well, I mean, in funky and very much involved in that funky sound, but also a lot of grimy elements running through things as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Retrospect is actually making lots of straight up grime at the moment as well. It's sounding so sick.
Sick, man. We're going to jump into this one now then. This one is Test Me, Rame and Fork and Knife. It's out now via Coca-Cola Sound. Do go and grab it. Really, really cool release. Some really wicked remixes on there. We're going to get into this, and then we're going to get into a bit more conversation about what you've been doing on SoundCloud, because I'm very interested to find out what's going on with these. And yeah, we'll carry on from there. It's Cubcan TV. New listeners, please do make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. Like the video as well. Let's have a bit of a conversation this morning. Oh, yes.
Show everywhere I'm shelling. Fork and knife, man, top of the beat. Pass
Marcus Nasty. Turn up, shout everywhere I go. Don't care if the bouncers don't let me. Box of beats like Kenshin, I am the one just like Jet Li. You don't wanna test me, no, you don't wanna test me. Man wanna vex me, wanna stress me, so I tell man, please, no, not this week, or next week, or the one after that. I'm just here for the vibes and peace, so let me vibes in peace. I don't wanna start moving grease. You don't wanna test me, no, you don't wanna test me. Man wanna vex me, wanna stress me, so I tell man, please, no, not this week, or next week, or the one after that. I'm just here for the vibes and peace, so let me vibes in peace. I don't wanna start moving grease. Moving grease on a man, no baths for more like us, show my man. Raincoat, but I don't need with a man. Skeg man, the bikini beats get sprayed on. Liverpool down like NOV, but I come from nuts like weeks and stand. Sling it reloaded on a Friday, next day catch me back with the fam. Ramos lead the team like Zidane. Them boy wanna throw shade on man. You don't need to mention my name 5 times for me to start moving like Candyman. Bang, call me the energy man, otherwise known as Mr. Nang Nang. Box up beats like Kenshin, I'm the Mr. Nice Guy just like Jackie Chan. You don't wanna touch me, no, you don't wanna touch me. You don't wanna touch me, no, you don't wanna touch me. You don't wanna touch me, no, you don't wanna touch me. You don't wanna touch me, no, you don't wanna touch me. You don't wanna touch me, no, you don't wanna touch me. You don't wanna touch me, no, you don't wanna touch me. You don't wanna touch me, no, you don't wanna touch me. You don't wanna touch me, no, you don't wanna touch me. You don't wanna test me, no, you don't wanna test me. Man wanna vex me, wanna stress me, so I tell man, please, no, not this week, or next week, or the one after that. I'm just here for the vibes and peace, so let me vibes in peace. I don't wanna start moving grease. You don't wanna test me, no, you don't wanna test me. Man wanna vex me, wanna stress me, so I tell man, please, no, not this week, or next week, or the one after that. I'm just here for the vibes and peace, so let me vibes in peace. I don't wanna start moving grease.
Right then, we're back on the line. It's Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave. It's Fresh Fridays. It's 1,000 different things. We're on the line with Fork and Knife and Duke Sky, having a really cool conversation about new releases. That one there, Test Me, Rame alongside Fork and Knife. You can check that out via Cocobolo Sound. There's a ton of remixes on there as well. Fantastic stuff. So we're moving the conversation forward a little bit then. I want to kind of get into what's popping on SoundCloud at the moment, because I'm actually on your SoundCloud page literally right now. It's up in front of me on the screen, and I'm seeing sends for a lot of people. What's going on?
I mean, I'm not actually sending for anyone. If I get sent for, I feel like it's my duty to respond. So
Send your honour.
Yeah, exactly. So I had one from Tick and Borrow, and then I had to say something back. And then, but it is hard because I don't have like unlimited time, like I said at the moment. So I am sort of finding it difficult, but when I do have a spare hour, if somebody sent for me, I'm going to send back. And then another one from More of Us as well.
Yeah, I mean, I really like looking through this, man. Like, do you think this is something that is happening specifically because of, like, COVID?
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, it's just extra time on everyone's hands, isn't it? On most people's hands. Like, every group on Facebook seems to have a War Dubs tournament. There's, like, Kiwi Cup as well. There's so many like competitive like music competitions at the moment.
Definitely. You know what, you see, for me, I really enjoy this side of things. Like clash culture in general for me is the most exciting part of sort of should we say UK dance music culture, because obviously there's so much rooted in UK dance music culture from original system culture. Like is it something you kind of follow?
I wouldn't say I necessarily follow. I mean, I only really know about it from grime and the old sort of grime clashes. But I'm following the current state of SoundCloud, and it's moving at like a mile a minute. Yeah, it's hard to keep track of. But yeah, I am like dipping my toes in every now and again.
It's sick to see though, man. Like, I mean, with these two that have kind of been done, are you expecting additional responses?
No, purely because I kind of. I'm not expecting it. If it happens, I kind of hope it doesn't happen because I'm too lazy to respond. But you know, if it happens, it happens.
If it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
So moving forward then into a couple of other bits. I was kind of scrolling through the SoundCloud yesterday, as I do before we get guests, and I like to know exactly what people have been doing recently. I also noticed that there was another free download up there. Like, you've had a really busy period.
Yeah, well, this is it. I always seem to go like a couple of months, or maybe I think it's been 3 months since release, and then loads seems to happen at once. So yeah, the free download was part of a project, Violet Crime. This was the first single they released. It's actually really interesting. They put two producers together, because it was with Blackmore. I had no idea who I was working with. I had no contact with him. All I knew was this email address, Violet Crime Project, and they sort of like laid down the law, told me what I needed to do, and then so I sent off a 16-bar to them, and then without knowing who was working on it, I got it back like a few weeks later. Then I worked on it, sent it back, and then, you know, etc. And then, yeah, in the end, we had this finished product. I love the tune. I mean, really like
that's such a cool concept for how it kind of works.
It's a blind date for producers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you had no idea who you were working with at any point?
Yeah, not a clue. And because it's interesting, because you try and sort of figure out who it might be from the samples they're using. But yeah, I had no idea.
That's a sick concept, man. I mean, I was speaking to Violet Crime recently about getting them on the show.
Really?
I think we were waiting until there were a couple more collaborations done and finished out there to kind of look around. But yeah, it's a really cool tune, man. Very much a good blend of your sort of style. And then again, the artwork. I can see the artwork in front of me. It's like two people blindfolded with like a string tying them together.
Yeah.
Just everything about it's a really, really cool. Interesting concept. So we're going to finish up with this tune. Before we get into that, though, I want to know what's on the way from yourself, music-wise and project-wise. Like, have you got a few things in the pipeline?
Yeah, I've got a few things in the pipeline. I've got nothing sort of dead cert yet. I mean, I've got a release with Coco Bolo coming out at some point. So that'll be a full-length EP. I've also got a collab with Ali Muck and Eyes. What else have I got? I've got I've got EPs in the pipeline on Influx again. I do one a year for them.
Nice.
So that'll be later in the year. And everything else is to be confirmed, really.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to releases from yourself, I do always see a fair few things floating around as well. I always see new bits floating around in the emails as well. Like you're very consistent when it comes to actually putting the music together. So I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening over the next year, man. I want to say thanks for jumping on the line with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And obviously you can check this podcast out via Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Music. Literally just search Breakfast with KXVU, the interviews. You'll be able to find all of these on there, and this interview will be up straight after the show. We're going to finish up with this track from Fork and Knife and Blackmore as part of the Violet Crime project. Proof of concept. Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. One time, what is the best social media tag for people to get you on?
Fork and Knife 000.
And is that the same on every platform? Yeah,
same on everything. Yeah.
I love that. I love it when it's the same on every platform.
It didn't used to be. For a long time it wasn't.
Makes life so. Even if it's slightly different from your actual name with weird numbers or something, if it's the same on every one, just makes life so much more enjoyable. So thanks for jumping on the line, and we'll speak soon.
All right, big up, thank you.
Nice one, dude. We're going to get into this one now. This one is Proof of Concept, Fork and Knife and Blackmore. We're live on the line, myself and Duke Sky, getting into Fresh Fridays after this one. Right then, we are live on the line with man like Duke Sky right about now. Massive shouts out to Fork and Knife for joining us for the last half an hour or so. Make sure you go and check out all the new releases. That one there with Blackmore, Proof of Concept. That one's out via Violet Crime. You've also got Test Me out now on Cocobolo Sound featuring Rame and a load of remixes as well. It's time for Fresh Fridays, so we're going to be jumping into right about now what the best releases are from the from today's listings. Essentially, it's been a busy week. And there's some unusual ones. I'm going to put the releases up on screen right about now. So there we go. That's the listings of what we're going to be running through today. I've got my pen. We're going to be marking stuff as we go. There's some really interesting bits in there. New music from Roska, from Jafro, Footsie, Oscar World Peace. There's new Tom Misch and Yusuf Days. New DJ Zinc with a Sully remix of Bubble, which we actually reviewed a few weeks ago. New Lila Ike and new Decode and Silence, which is out now on, I believe, Ram Recordings. That's the listing of what we're going to be getting into today. So, Dukey, are you ready for the selections?
Yes, let's go.
Let's get into it. So we're going to kick off with brand new Roska. Now, Roska is definitely someone who I'm keeping a very close eye on. He's always someone who kind of stays, I don't want to necessarily say ahead of the trend. He's very on trend within that sort of funky sound with what he does. Obviously a legend in what he does as well. Very much, I'd say, possibly the most sort of legendary UK funky figure.
Yeah, I think, it's definitely... in the conversation, if not undisputed.
So we're going to get into this one. This one's brand new from him. This one goes by the name of Everything alongside Siren Rivers. Really cool, smooth, nostalgic flavours on this one. We're going to get into this and then give it our Fresh Fridays review. So don't go anywhere.
Hey.
I can't wait to forget your love.
appreciate good love, so we can't win. And I can't tell you this enough. Now who knows just what we could have been.
That one there coming from Rosca, featuring Siren Rhythms. Very kind of nostalgic, funky flavours on this one as we look through new bangers this morning here on Fresh Fridays. How are we feeling about this one, Dukey?
Yeah, no, real vibe. Again, it's which makes me sad for the absence of summer.
Definitely, man. That's definitely a tune that I'd like to have seen at the on the sort of beach parties and the sort of terrace parties. That's very much that kind of real sunshine flavour that you'd want from those sort of tunes.
Yeah, 100%.
So what are we going to go rating-wise on this one? Do you want this or should I take this one?
No, I'll kick this one off. I'm going to go... Ooh, I'm going to go quattro. This one get a 4.
This one's going to go for a 4. I'm in agreement on a 4. So just for those that aren't aware, obviously we've got a load of new listeners in today. Fresh Fridays, the system is it's out of 5. You can give 0.5s. So originally to represent the Trickstar start, obviously we normally do Fresh Fridays on Trickstar Radio. We're unable to get into Trickstar at the moment because of the current situation. So 4 is a very solid rating to kick us off with.
Yeah. Obviously, you can have half points as well. So there's 2 more levels above that one.
2 more
levels. It's a strong starting point.
Very strong starting point. Again, I really like the kind of layout. It's the thing about Rosca's kind of sound that I do enjoy is those kind of those delicate chords that you hear through things. They give the tunes such a smooth texture, I find.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I think it's definitely been a trademark over the years, and yeah, long may it continue.
Good stuff. Let's get into this next one then. This is Footsie featuring Cass Is Dead. Really cool collaboration, this one. Goes by the name of Restless Jack. We've heard about this one for a couple of weeks. It's out there now. We're going to get into it now. Have you heard this one before, Fred? Dukey?
Fred?
I don't know where Fred came from.
Yeah, I don't know, me neither. Who knows where Fred comes from? I will admit that I did hear this one floating around in the ether earlier on this week, and yeah, absolutely loved the verse from Kath as well as Footsie doing this thing. So yeah, let's do it.
Good stuff. Let's get into this one. Don't go anywhere. It's Fresh Fridays.
I put in the work all day. Yeah, I'm the guy who said that. Man, I ain't speaking my name cause I've got more tunes for your rascal head back. In my pocket's a jet black. I'm dressed in jet black. Now I ain't having a bar, I hope you idiots get that. Send a man up to the sky like a rocket. Now man's nothing but dirt and ashes. Man thought he could laugh and mock it. Stash spots where the match and the cash is. Ring that you'll see nothing but flashes. All I hear is nothing but gas. Phone books nothing but crooks and gashes. Rude boy, that's not sauce. Why you forcing it? It's the return of the Jedi, I came with the force in it. My youth, that's not beef, it's got holes in it. The new came with teeth, don't give me your calls for it. I'm up late like a foxes, busting up bags and boxes. Pure wins, couple losses, that's how the life of a boss is. The life of a made man, growing up in the hood, made man. These ugly streets, paid man. And if a man come round me talking, I'd make like a barber and fade man. Side man ting, now you ain't the main. Bad man ting, now we ain't the same. Don't blood, but this ain't. I said don't blood, this ain't a game. Stay in your lane, man's breathing. Apply some pressure and squeeze it. Put him on ice and freeze him. Bad man in this don't wanna see me up. If anyway, better things free up. Man can't f*** my plug or re-up. Try f*** my state or status, then you'll see crazy apparatus. Your name must be Jacobs, you must be crackers, cause you will get shaken like maracas. I know about the trapping, I know about the whipping. Gymnastics thing, I know about the flipping. I know the whoppers, I know the dippers. And I also know that enough of you
yeah, drop it off, straight there, no stopping off. Popular, nice, popping off. Let a chart topping suit me off. For attention, he popping up in my mentions. Non-stop popping Adderall, like nigga always in detention. Mask on face, cause they say man sick. Don't know what to say when they hear man spit. Push out their face like it smells shit. Talking slick, end up with a walking stick. Fake you don't walk with a stick. I'm in your chick's crib with my cat. More chicks than you can shake a stick at. Whipping at yam like Auntie Amma. Couple of grand plus arm and hammer. 2 in my hand and a dark bandana. I got if you look at me in the manner. Win the rat race is still a rat. More than one way to skin a cat. White cat skinning up in his flat. Stay talking all this crap, but they ain't never held a strap. Stay talking all this trap. Don't fall for it, it's a trap. Parked by a tree covered in sap. Ticket warden tried it, older slap. Slipping if you think man a slack. They ain't original, it's a fact. I'm with King Original, he got my back. Try perform and man will clap. Brains dead, dead team.
Right then, we're live on Cubcam TV. That one there coming from Footsie alongside Cass is Dead. Restless Jack. An interesting tune.
Expand on that.
An interesting tune. For me, I feel that as a collaboration could have been a lot more.
Okay.
Being 100% honest. I mean, obviously, Footsie is a legend within grime. That's certified. There's no getting away from that. I'd be interested to see who produced this as well. I don't have the production credit up on screen, but I might look into that in just a second. And Cass is Dead is obviously one of the most unique voices in sort of UK rap music across the board. I don't know. I just feel a little bit underwhelmed.
Yeah. I'm just looking up the producer credits now. No, it's produced by, it's not filled in. I really wish people would do that.
Yeah, that's annoying, man. I mean, whenever we do the Fresh Friday show, you're really good at bringing the producer credits, bro. If I need someone to find producer credits, you're definitely the person I'll ask every time.
Yeah, if you give me 10 minutes, I'll go do my little investigation job. I'd find out, but no,
do the digging.
My initial spot.
I don't know. I just feel a little bit underwhelmed by it, if I'm honest. Like, I get it. I get the kind of layout. The instrumental's quite cool. It's got that almost like horrorcore sort of theme to it as well, which Cass seems to set over really, really nicely with the kind of sweeping strings and stuff. But I don't know. I just feel that there's a lack of structure. It feels like two people just got together and put like a verse together and wrote an extra 8 bars each to fill out the time. That's kind of how it feels to me.
Yeah. No. Can't disagree with your opinion. I see what you're saying. I do see where you're coming from 100%. But yeah, for me, I think I was just zoning out listening to it. I was having a real vibe. So
I think it's definitely a roller as well. It's not. I don't necessarily think this is a tune that's designed to be like the masterpiece compositionally. You know what I mean? I think it's pretty much just almost like a flex of a tune. I feel.
Yeah. No, I see that. Sure.
But yeah, I'm gonna go 3. I'll be honest. I'm gonna go 3. I'm not gonna go any lower than that purely because everything about it, like constructively, is fine. There's nothing wrong with it sonically, or just in general. Just for me, I feel like it didn't really go anywhere. I didn't like the verses seemed to be quite separate to me. It just felt like two people turning up and putting bars on a recording. In my completely honest opinion.
Fair play. No, well, that's all we can ask for, mate. We don't want any sugarcoating.
Good stuff. Let's jump into another one then. This one coming from Jaffro, a tune we've been seeing floating around in the ether for a while. It's finally dropped today, alongside another single, which he features on. But this one is My Brothers. We're going to get into this one now. It's just gone 11:15 here on Cubcam TV. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. It makes a huge difference to what we're doing. Myself and Duke Sky in the hot seat.
Yeah, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere, but right now you're here being entertained by the saucy sounds of Jaffro, and man, it's cool. God bless me and all my brothers, yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers, yeah. God bless me and all my brothers, yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers, yeah. God bless me and all my brothers, yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers, yeah. God bless me and all my brothers, yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers, yeah. I bust that block boy JD shoot dance so hard that my Timberland boot ties came off. You won't see me with the new gang. No dog, I'ma still be with the same ones since day one. Oh wait, you thought you were cooler. Shango the fun, the god, the man is cooler. Keep your pupils on me and I'll school ya. My heart so cold, my chest feels like a cooler. Stone cold like I'm staring at Medusa. I drove so much heat, they tell me cool, nah. Boy, I'm far from a loser, and you can even check that with a ruler. Them I rewind me, call me sounding like the future. No wonder they're excited for the new ones, cause every time I drop they say the jag was too much. But let me say a prayer for my true ones. Go like, God bless me and all my brothers, yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers, yeah. God bless me and all my brothers, yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers, yeah. God
I know I won't see you too much. I know whenever I'll see you it's love. And I hope God helps you see in the dark. I guess that's a lie for the cream of the crop.
And I got drop top dreams where I dreamed of the guap. And if you've not got a team, then you're in need of a squad.
Squad.
For time it's just been me and my cars.
Blood.
Try, but the chief is in the car. And we vibing, it won't stop. I'm the fire in front of God. Where I'm shining and I'm blinding, you should try and pull me off. This the proudest pride of lions, and we thrive in this jungle. I'm with the deepest, darkest shadows. You can't play with these jaguars. So with this drink in my hand, I'ma serve a higher purpose. And God bless me and all my brothers. You can't curse us. And if you wanna verse us, then we'll end up dropping verses and it's curtains.
Where's my Timberland boot?
God bless me and all my brothers. Yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers. Yeah. God bless me and all my brothers. Yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers. Yeah. God bless me and all my brothers. Yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers. Yeah. God bless me and all my brothers. Yeah. Yeah, I put that on my mothers. Yeah. Saying God bless me and all my God bless me and all my God bless me and all my
Sounds of the Jafro on this one, my brothers, an absolute vibe this morning. Now, for me, the difference between that and the last tune, this for me is that there's a journey to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. It's more, I don't know, traditional song structure, radio friendly, if there is even a thing anymore. And I see why you'd lean more towards this one. Play that way.
So how are we going? How are we feeling about this one? Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts and opinions.
Well, I was trying to rack my brain for the exact month in which he dropped the clip for this one. It was around last summer, I think. Yeah, tail end of last summer. He dropped a clip of him in the studio playing the instrumental. He done the first hook, and I think it was maybe like the first 16 or something of the first verse. And yeah, since then you knew he had one. He had one there. So it's good that it's seen the light of day. And yeah, I'll be adding it to some of my playlists for sure.
Definitely, man. I think with Jafro as well, the fact that he does come from that sort of grime background, but has this kind of essentially almost like gospel sort of style vocal
harmonies,
like layered into what he's doing. I just think it adds such a cool additional element. But this is your rating. What are we going to go?
Well, as I say, as this one was such a highly heralded track from my perspective, and has been for quite some time now, I've got no other choice really but to go with a full single. This one's getting a 5.
Big 5. There we go. Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, I can't be waiting for a tune for like a year and not.
And it actually meet expectations and not give it a 5.
Exactly.
How rare does that happen as well? How rare is it you actually get wait for a tune for that long and it does actually do exactly what you wanted it to do? Yeah,
not very often. I don't think there's there's a lot of clips that go around these days, but I think you can get fooled quite easily from just a 15-20 second clip.
Definitely. But there we go.
This one lived up to it for sure.
That one's that one. So, that's a sentence and a half, isn't it?
That one's that one.
That one's that one.
Groundbreaking.
There we go.
Reviews.
Absolute world changing, that one. So next up, we've got a new artist who I haven't actually heard of before, but saw this tune floating around and really did like it. Oscar World Peace, track entitled that's 3 M's, featuring Rags Originale and Benji Flow. We've been playing a tune from...
Is he related to Meta World Peace? A basketball player.
I don't know, he might be. Who knows?
Like cousins or something.
You never know. But yeah, this one's featuring Rags Originale and Benji Flow. We have been playing a tune from Benji Flow on the show quite recently. Yes. He's really, really cool. So we're going to get into this one now. A bit of a wild card, this one.
Yeah. Styles a little bit, but that's what we do.
Good stuff. Don't go anywhere. We are live on Cubcam TV.
Neighbours vexed 'cause the noise in the room, and it goes deep waters if you really wanna swim. Baby girl, Jump in, you know this ship don't sink. And it goes It's that vintage dark skin. Tell me, did you miss him? If so, baby, where you been? Pour me more, fill it up to the brim. Pulling up and I curbed all my rims. Still resistant, gifted. If you wanna witness, I've got something in the wings. Crown me now, cause you're looking at a king. Hotel spa, man, I'm going for a swim. But you never see me skinny dipping. Neighbours vexed cause the noise in the room. And it goes Deep waters if you really wanna swim. Baby girl Jump in, you know this ship don't sink. And it goes It's the chocolate biscuit, getting into mischief, risk it, rubber or skin. I got a new hashtag, leave it in. And lately I've been thinking about twins. It's domestic, toxic, how we gonna fix it? This is sink or swim. 65 kg in the gym. Big chest and I'm on bigger things. You see the beard on my chinny chin chin. Neighbours vexed cause the noise in the room. And it goes Deep waters if you really wanna swim. Baby girl Jump in, you know this ship don't sink. And it goes
It's the skin fade lasting, baby, if you're asking. Big flows worth for the win. So back it up for a king. You know I'm slim but I really go in. Mr. Lover, big bench, baby, if you're fit then Mike can roll with the team. Don't be shy, eat up like a queen. I'm with you if you really wanna binge. And if I hit, I can really make it sing.
Neighbours vexed cause the noise in the room. And it goes Deep waters if you really wanna swim.
Really cool vibes on this one. This one, Oscar World piece featuring Rags Originale and Benji Flow. Very interesting piece of music. This one, I don't really know what I'd class it as either. It's obviously a rap tune, but I don't know where it would go after that. Very unique styles, very unique flavours on this one. Juki, how are we feeling?
Yeah, no, I think you summed it up quite aptly there. I've just been looking up Oscar Wilde piece a little bit. As you say, I hadn't been too familiar with him beforehand. But yeah, no, love that as my first introduction to him. I'll be checking a bit more out. I see he's obviously been around. He's got bits in the Guardian and stuff. So
nice, yeah. I think
we're late on the train.
I think we might be on this one. He's very, very unique as well. And I was saying off mic there, it definitely has a very kind of like tribally feel to that one in regards to the repetition of that kind of that do 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 do, just that beat, that on repeat. It has a very kind of like Gregorian's the wrong word, but there's like I can't remember what the word is, but there's a word for that. It's almost like that consistent chant.
It's like a chanting, the rhythmic chant,
which is what gives the whole thing rhythm, and it gives the whole thing that kind of like constant move. It almost has the idea of like it feels like a bit of a cipher, the tune.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, it's good. I like things like that because it's definitely different. Definitely. And just incorporating like a sample like that. Yeah, no, I love that.
Really cool, man. Really cool stuff. So, what were you going to go rating-wise on this one? It's mine, I believe, isn't it?
This one's you, yeah.
I'm going to go... purely for how much it's already stuck in my head, and purely because it is such an earworm, and the fact that this is the first time I've heard Oscar Wilde piece. I'm going to keep consistent with this because... I think, obviously, it's the first time I've heard him. I don't want to give a 5 out because I don't want to put the ceiling on it straight away. And because, obviously, there's always more you can do. I'm going to go with a 4 on this one. Purely because I think it's striking, I think is the best way to describe it. I think it hits you straight away.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's definitely one that will stick with you as well. So yeah.
Well, that could well retrospectively improve to a 4-5 depending on how much I'm humming it over the course of the day. I think realistically. Cool. Let's move on to another one then. Really interesting collaboration here. We've got Tom Misch, Yusuf Days, and Freddie Gibbs all on a tune entitled Night Rider. Have you heard this one before?
Yeah, no, I listened to it just before the show this morning. Well, we obviously know what Tom Misch and Yusuf Days can do, but it was good to hear them with Freddie Gibbs. Are you familiar with Freddie?
Yeah, I've been following him on and off, shall we say, over the course of the last sort of like 6-7 years or so, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, he's one of those guys that if you are any way familiar with like the underground rap scene or underground-ish rap scene, over there, then you'll know Freddie. And yeah, he does his thing on this.
Good stuff. Let's get into this one then.
Listen to what they say. You can't take it slow. And when the night rider comes around, gotta pick up the dough. I ride low with the setting sun. Miss the days with the break of the drums. It's icy. It's a rock so easily, so easily. High beam on the dash, I'll be shaking you down. It's a rock so easily, so easily. I got a feeling that won't calm down. Can't do it alone. I'll take you to the fat of the land. This is where we go. Top down with the cruise control. Lights out with the radio on. It's crazy. It's a rock so easily, so easily. High beam on the dash, I'll be shaking you down. It's a rock so easily, so easily.
Yeah. Should I bless the track and let it breathe? Yeah. I need a lot, forgot to hit my knees. Yeah. Freddie Kane clocking overseas. Ice minus 4 degrees.
Sad shit, round tree. Sit your bitch on the brown tree. Niggas put real diamonds and fake ass rollies. That's clown shit. Every whip I wish it the German made over Talcott. Super dope, my geek is more meaty as Robert Townsend and pounds it. These niggas window shoppers, they browsing. Put that on BL, I put BBs in Mama Dow. They can understand it, this gangsta shit run the planet. Kept a cannon, even when I was down and out, I was wild. I just bless the track, so let it breathe. Yeah, I need a lot, forgot to hit my knees. Yeah, Freddie Kane clocking overseas. Rapper of the year, fuck the nominee.
Hardy, Corvette, I'll be chasing you down. It's a rock, so
zoning out to that one over the past sort of 4 minutes or so. If you're watching the stream, you've probably seen me just kind of my eyes slowly drooping closed as I drift away. But wicked tune, that one, coming from a man like Freddie Gibbs alongside Tom Misch and Yusuf Days on the production side of things, with Freddie popping in at the end there. Amazing tune.
Yeah, no, I think it's exactly what you'd want from them. Bit jazzy vibes. Wake Up 2 this morning. I was loving it.
I think as well, it was an interesting collaboration to see, but it definitely works as a musical pairing.
Yeah, I have to say I wasn't anticipating it, But yeah, it makes so much sense when you do hear it. So.
It's one of those ones where it's like, why didn't we think of this before?
Yeah. I'd like to see that more as well, because I think there's a lot of crossover in terms of the styles and sounds that the UK guys are making compared to what the guys are making over in the States, in France and elsewhere. So I think some international collaborations would be good over this period, considering everyone's more or less in the same boat worldwide.
Realistically, it's a good way of looking at it. What are we going to go rating wise on this one? I mean, sonically, it's an absolute thrill to listen to.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much wrong with it, to be fair. It just it's just fallen one short of a perfect number for me. I'm going to go with the flow then, big 4-5.
The big 4-5. I am a fan of that as a suggestion. I think, I can't. That's pretty much exactly where I was headed with it.
Can't be arguing with that one.
Can't be arguing at all. Coming up next, we have an extended edition of a previous track we have reviewed on Brekky In The Cave. That's how long we've already been going. 5 weeks we're at. From Sully. Now, this is the Sully remix of DJ Zinc and Alakai Harley's Bubble track, which we did review a little while back. This one is the Sully remix. So it's a very kind of twisted UKG version of that. There's a couple of other remixes on the project as well. It does drop today. There we go.
Boom. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it right about now. Sound of DJ Zinc and Alakai Harley on that one. The Sully remix of Bubble. Wow, what a layout that one is. Really, really cool tune. I really like the original as well. So to hear it remixed and the remix to do justice, I think is amazing.
I know, yeah. Was it an official remix?
It was an official remix. It comes out on Bingo Bass today, I believe.
Ah, boom! There you go. Yeah, no, done it justice there, in my opinion.
Definitely, man. I think.
Give it the producer breakdown. Go on. I want to hear all the adjectives.
Yeah, there we go. I was going to say metallic percussive rolls. That's what's coming out today. But yeah, I mean, obviously, when it's a tune like the original, which is very much a party-starting tune, I feel you have to hit it with a certain level of you have to be clever with a remix on it. I think because the party version's already been done. How do you remix? How as a dance music producer, how do you remix a party version of a tune and still make it lively and still make it your own? And I think Sully's hit the nail bang on the head, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Actually, I wouldn't have thought of it like that. But yeah, you've got to sort of not deviate from the impact too much whilst putting your own spin on it. So yeah, that must be more challenging than your standard remix.
Definitely, and I'd say the most interesting thing about this is, I mean, obviously listening through we were both off mic going that kind of spring that comes in, that dun 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 dun, that sound.
Yeah.
I don't normally go all producery in regards to like, oh my god, that sounds so cool. How did he do it? I have no idea how he did that.
Yeah, well there we go. That's a sign of a good producer then.
As soon as I heard that, I was like, my ears just went bing. You probably saw it on the stream. My ears literally just hit the ceiling, and I was I think it's a very, very good remix. As far as remixes go for dance music tunes, I say it's up there with one of my favourite this year.
Well, that's it. Can't get more complimentary than that.
So rating wise, this is tough. This is tough, you know. This is genuinely really tough. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Big Five.
Oof.
I think I'm gonna purely because oh, I can hear myself, by the way, through your phone.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. How about now? There we go, all fixed, good stuff.
There you go.
So what? The reason this one I think I'm going to have to give it a 5 is purely because that for me is a perfect example of how to perform a successful remix. I think he does everything. I think Sully does literally everything. He applies his own sort of broken garage style to the vocal. He uses the vocal and makes the vocal sound like this is the original, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The vocal the vocal fits so perfectly over these drums that it like I wouldn't be. If I was told in a year's time that this is the original, I would have second thoughts and go, was it the original? Was the Sully one the original? Like it's that good of a remix. And I think obviously the actual production level is obviously amazing. Rhythmically, it's amazing. And I just think when you're putting together a remix for DJ Zinc, I think this is exactly how you need to approach it.
Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. You've hit the nail on the head there, I reckon. Shout out to everyone involved with that one.
So yeah, there we go. I'm gonna roll with a 5. I'm gonna be confident in giving that one a 5. That's what it's getting. There we go. Next up on our listing, we have a visit from Lila Ike. Now we've had one Lila Ike tune over on the Trickstar playlist. This is the first time we've had a tune from her over here on Brekky In The Cave. So this one is I Spy, her brand new single. We're gonna get into this one now and then give the ratings out afterwards. Don't go anywhere. It's Cubcan TV.
Let's do it.
You see something you might like. Won't you come over if you really feel it? Ask all your questions, yes, I really mean it. I spy that you see something you might like. Won't you come over if you really feel it? Ask all your questions, yes, I really mean it. But come and see you with your crew, just a woman I go true, and I can tell, say you admire the realness. Look at me, looking at you, now you don't know what to do. Just relax and I got in your feelings. Hey, I'm mostly conscious got this whiff and I'm out corner. You probably think that girl about that, bet you love the drama. But me kinda like the vibe, so I guess I can. Come over if you really wanna. I spy that you see something you might like. Won't you come over if you really feel it? Ask all your questions, yes, I really mean it. I spy that you see something you might like. revealing. I for sure won't let that go. Him say, girl, me never really plan to look you, but to me see you move, you get me hooked too. Then he go tell him, say me cook too. After that, he won't let me go. I spy that you see something you might like. Won't you come over if you really feel it? Ask all your questions, yes, I really mean it. I spy that you see something you might like. Won't you come over if you really feel it? Ask all your questions, yes, I really mean it. Ask all your questions. I've got all the answers, yeah. I know you will. 'Cause I spy. I know you will, yeah. I spy that you see something you might like. Won't you come over if you really feel it? Ask all your questions, yes, I really mean it. I spy that you see something you might like. Won't you come over if you really feel it? Ask all your questions, yes, I really mean it.
Right then, we are live on Cubcam TV. That one there coming from Lila Ike. It's National Bat Day, by the way, so we're looking through weird pictures of bats whilst the songs are playing.
I was just trying to take the steps back in the conversation, see how we got onto those pictures of bats, but that was it. It was World Bat Day.
It's World Bat Day. If you literally just it's trending on Twitter right now. Have a look through some of the pictures of these things. They are very weird looking things.
Just type in bat face on Google, yeah, and that's some of the most scary shit you've seen in your life.
Literally ever. Some of the weirdest looking stuff ever.
Grim.
So what we're going to do next is give the rating for this one. So Lila Ike, I Spy. How are we feeling about this one?
Yeah, no, big fan of Lila Ike. Shouts to you for obviously bringing her to light in the Trickstar Studios some time ago. And yeah, this is you met we were talking about off a slight semblance of what Coffee's been doing. But obviously not too much down that road. She definitely still retains her own style.
Definitely.
I think it'd be good to see her sort of take that same path as Coffee, not musically, but just in terms of how she's been introduced into more of a mainstream in Europe and America and beyond. So yeah, it would be good to see that for Lila.
Yeah, I agree, man. What are we going to go rating wise?
I'm gonna stick with a 4 on this one. I think
I am also very much feeling a 4. I think there's enough to it for it to be. It's enough to it to obviously be a very individual tune, but I think there's just more she could have done with it. Is the total thing of it for me.
Yeah, shouts to Lila Ike herself alongside with Protege and Savannah. They've all recently signed a new deal with RCA Records. So
wicked stuff. I love that. That's
shouts to them.
So we're going to finish up with the final tune of today's listings. This one is Decode and Silence. It's a D&B roller. It's from, I believe, Ram Records' most recent release. It goes by the name of Nightfall, and it features Just Nightfall. Sorry, I'm reading that entirely wrong. Just Nightfall featuring Merin T. So we're going to get into this one now. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
First time hits you harder from the third to time makes it harder to kill first. By the third time you got me under the spell that is your life. stop, I just might fall. Just might fall. I just might fall. Don't let me go, I just might fall. Just might fall. I just want it. On the very first day, you asked the first question. Didn't really know that you would be messing up my mind, body, and soul. Taking me where I didn't wanna go. First time, and you made me lose my mind. And again, and I begged, when will it end? Take back your truth. What you won't do. Say again, my friend. I don't wanna walk, I don't wanna pretend. By the time you got me under the spell that is your life, why'd you take me under? I don't know what to do. I breathe, I take you into me. I begged you, what could it be? Your life, your love, I want it all. I just can't stop, I just might fall. Just might fall. I just might fall. Don't let me go, I just might fall. Just might fall. I just want it.
So we're back on the line. That one coming from Decode and Silence. Just Might Fall alongside Merrin T. That one's out today, I believe, on Ram Recordings. Don't quote me if I am incorrect on that one, though. I'm pretty sure it's Ram Recordings. Interesting tune.
Yeah, no, I love that one. It's something different. I wasn't expecting that when I first heard it, but pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, really cool. I feel this is like it's almost like a new area for D&B that's being sort of like approached. I think with this sort of like approaching a more sort of soulful kind of vocal actually being lead and it not being essentially all about the drums.
Yeah, the more airy vocals, and they I know exactly what you're saying. There was a few back in the day with KTB that sort of bordered on it, but I think it's with the way that pop music now and singers are the route that most singers are going down, I think it's going to work in harmony, to be honest with you.
Definitely. So let's get a rating on this and then we can move into the winner.
It's you or me?
Is it? It is me. It's me. I'm gonna come out and say it straight away. I'm gonna give this one a 4-5. Really like the layout. Really like. I was quite blown away by how kind of hypnotic the vocal was. Alongside
good description.
Alongside the kind of like airy pad textures, the kind of like quite haunting the vocal as well. That kind of the tones to it and stuff. Really, really cool tune. I would have liked maybe a breakdown somewhere where it does go into like an actual switch up or maybe like that. But again, that's personal preference. That's why it's a 4-5 for me.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Can't disagree with that.
So we've got 2 5s on today's listing. We have got a 5 from the Jaffro tune, My Brothers, and also DJ Zinc and Alakai Harley, Bubble, the Sully remix. So we're actually in quite an easy position here to kind of work this out. We both had each other's tunes, and I think I know which way around this is going to go. But I'll give my rating on Jaffro's, and you give your rating on the Sully tune.
I'll go with a 4.
The 4 for the Sully tune. I was going to go for a 5 for the Jaffro tune. So that was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. I think your producer brain is a lot more inclined to like the Sally one.
Definitely.
Whereas my brain's wired to lean more towards Jaffro.
Definitely. And the thing is, I love the Jaffro tune as well. So I think it's there we go. So there we go. We have our winner. Congrats to Jaffro, My Brothers. Wicked tune. And there we go. That's our winner of today's Fresh Friday selection. Yeah. So what are you up to for the rest of the day then, Juki?
That's good. Gonna go do a bit of shopping in a bit, masked up and gloved up, of course. But yeah, it has to be done. And then just gonna make sure I got it's Mrs. birthday on Sunday, so gonna try to do a little something in isolation.
Very nice. That's good.
Just what about yourself?
Well, it's Friday, so that does usually mean party games are about to deploy, shall we say. We've got a load of different party games we play on different things, and in our Discord group, someone, the last member of the group who we play with quite regularly, has finally got a new computer, so they're able to play all the games that we want to play. So there we go. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of gaming going on this evening.
Yes, fair enough. Well, indulge.
As well as that as well, we do have a brand new remix dropping on the channel a little bit later on, so that's going to be on the way. Do keep an eye out for that. I'm going to be doing all the announcements for that at around 5ish or so do keep an eye out. There is new music from myself dropping this evening. I'm keeping it very secret up until then, though.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go. Right then, that's it from us. It's been Fresh Fridays here on Cupcam TV. Dukey, a pleasure as always. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me, mate. And shouts to Fork and Knife.
Shouts to Fork and Knife as well. Really cool conversation. As I've said before, you can check out the podcast for this one via Breakfast with KXVU. The interviews on all different podcasting platforms. That's Apple Music, Spotify, and SoundCloud as well. So there we go.
Hey,
good stuff. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked, and we'll see you all soon. I'll see you Monday, where we're going to be joined by, I believe, Cocobolo Sounds. We're keeping the run going. Don't go anywhere. It's Cupcam TV.
Nice. Stay safe.